Okay, let's go. The first YouTube upload. And today's topic is going to be about why your funnel converts men but repels women. So, if your customer base is 70% women or more, but you're using funnel advice or funnel strategies or tactics from chances are another male that does not know female psychology, I need you to hear something because your funnel is actively working against you and it's not passively underperforming, it's actively repelling the very customers you're trying to attract. Now, my name is Lena, and I'm here to make marketing to women great again. I run the Ovary office, and I've spent over 5 years building and auditing funnels for businesses that sell to women. These range from course creators, DTC brands, coaches, SaaS, and info product owners. I love it, and I think women make up 85% of the consumer spending, and I think that we should market to them the way they want to be marketed to. And that is why I'm here today to teach you how to, or share with you rather, how to market to women in a way that feels both fun for them reading your marketing message and also feels fun for you to make these marketing materials. So the one thing I see over and over again is great products, solid traffic, and customers who love the product once they buy it. But the conversion rates make no sense. You see cart abandonment through the roof, sales calls where she seems ready to buy and then she ghosts you, or email sequences where there's decent opens but zero clicks. So here's the thing. Chances are it's probably not your offer, it's not your traffic, and it's not your price. The reason why this is probably happening is because the funnel advice you've been given to, or that you follow, or the books you buy, or the courses you get are designed by men, tested on men, and optimized for male psychology. And women don't buy like men. So let me show you exactly what I mean, and that's what we're going to go through in this document here. So you might see my eyes going up and down or in different directions. It's because I've got two screens here. So, okay, let's go into this. But before we get into the meat of today, I want to make sure that you're in the right place. So this video is specifically for you if your customer is 70% or more women. Maybe you sell skincare, supplements, course for female entrepreneurs, coaching, women's fashion, wellness products, or anything where your primary buyer is female. And you followed proven funnel advice, you've read the books, you watched the YouTube videos, and you maybe bought a course or two and implemented the templates to no avail. And you feel like something's not working. You know deep down that your conversion rate should be higher, and you just know it. You know that the traffic is there, your product is solid because you've seen the testimonials from the people who try it, they bought it and they love it. But a lot of the women are hesitating, they're either abandoning, ghosting, or they need to think about it. So if that's you, you're in the right place, and I'm going to explain something that's going to maybe piss you off a little bit. But once you see this, you can't unsee it because you've been using a playbook designed for the wrong buyer. So I'm going to get into the fundamental difference between how men and women buy. So this is not stereotyping, first of all. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. This isn't me saying women are emotional in some dismissive way. It is, oh man, why is, I don't like the layout of this right now, but okay, it's okay. Well, we're already 4 minutes in. We're not going to let that stop us. Okay. So as I was saying, this isn't me saying women are emotional in some dismissive way. This is neuroscience. This is not about, theory. This is about facts. And this is black and white, right? Because this is how the different brains actually processes purchase decisions differently based on a biological and sociological factor. So what do I mean by this? So how do men buy? Men buy completely different from women, right? And I know that's very surface level, so let's dig into it. So, for example, the male buying process. So, here's how men typically buy something. So, step one, they identify the problem. So, they go, okay, I need a solution to X. And then they research some options. And then they do a quick Google, maybe ask a friend. And then they compare on logic. So, they'll look at price, features, specs, and they're thinking like logically, right, when they look at these things. And then step four, they make a decision, and often very quickly too. Once the logic checks out for men, they hit purchase. So this is why for men it's very linear, it's logic first, and it's very fast. So, for example, when a man sees a countdown timer, right? He thinks, I'm gonna act fast before I miss out. And if he sees there's only 3 spots left, he's gonna think, you know what, I need to grab this now. And if there's any aggressive claims on any of the funnels or marketing materials, whatever, he's gonna see it as like, okay, this could be the solution. I'm gonna grab it quick. He doesn't hesitate. In fact, that actually aligns with how he buys. But when you look at how women buy, right, it is cyclical, emotion first, and very thorough. So, what do I mean by this? So, here's how women typically buy. So, they look at step one. What they do is they recognize the emotional discomfort that they're feeling, and they recognize that something isn't right. And then step two, they go into exploring whether solving it is safe and possible. And they ask themselves, okay, is this even something I can fix? And then step three, they research extensively. She's not just checking reviews, she's going to Reddit forums, she's maybe asking someone who's bought it before, she reads the whole sales page twice, in fact, and then she validates again through social proof, and then she asks herself, and it's not like the difference here between men and women. When men look at social proof, it just confirms like, okay, cool, like it works, I want to buy. But when women read social proof, they ask themselves like, okay, do people like me specifically succeed? Let's say she's a mom of three who's also working. That's what she wants to know. She wants to know if there's another mom who's also working who has succeeded in this. She wants to see herself like her someone like her in her position to know that. And then step five, they seek emotional confirmation. So she asks herself, does this feel right? And then she then looks at identity fit, right? So is this aligned with who I am and who I want to become? And then step seven, she then checks in with her feelings again. She does one more gut check. And then step eight, just maybe she purchases if nothing triggers her doubt. So we spoke about these three things up here and how men act to them. Now let's go ahead and look at how women act to them. So if she sees a countdown timer, she's going to feel pressured. She's not going to act fast like you want her to. If she sees, okay, there's only 3 spots left, that feels manipulative. In fact, I don't know who's doing this at this day and age because we know there's not only 3 spots left. So just a side tangent here, if you're actually going to do scarcity, make sure it's not fake scarcity. And this is either from male or female. Anyway, I digress. Aggressive claims. If it's too good to be true, she's going to check the reviews again, just to find a red flag. Okay, now we're going to go into the collision, right? So we're going to go into the specifics here. So let me get into the specific about what's happening in the brain, because this isn't just like a marketing theory. Like I said, this is like neuroscience, right? So when men and women evaluate a purchase decision, they activate different regions of the brain, right? So wait, let me just scroll down. So for men, what happens is their dorsolateral prefrontal cortex activates the logical evaluation. So he's just asking, okay, does this make sense? And then the nucleus accumbens, which is the reward anticipation, just asks, what do I get, right? So for women, it's completely different. She's assessing, well, the first thing is that it triggers the anterior cingulate cortex, which is the emotional processing, the keyword emotional processing. So she's asking, how does this make me feel? And then the insula, which is the risk assessment bit, is asking what could go wrong. So here's what it means in like in practicality. Men are processing what's the upside and does the logic check out? But women are processing, okay, is this safe and how do I feel about this? So they're both evaluating the purchase, but they're just running on different mental programs. So this is what I mean by difference. Like, there's nothing wrong with your product, your offer, your pricing. Chances are it's probably the psychology that you're using for the funnel. So the stress response, even for men and women, are very, very different. So when men feel pressured when he's in a buying situation, his brain activates what we call like what what's called like a fight response. You've probably heard it before, fight or flight response, right? So pressure for men pushes him towards action. So he's like, okay, I need to decide before I lose this. And for women, when they feel pressured, they pull back, right? In a buying situation, this activates what's called a tend and befriend response. So pressure actually pushes her towards safety because she feels threatened and she needs to step back and think. Now, when I talk to people about this, they think it's something very obvious that you see, but a lot of these things happen subtly, however you pronounce it, right? It's not like women go into it thinking like, oh, this feels threatening, I'm gonna walk away. No, it's something they do unconsciously, and it's not something that like happens. It happens slowly. It happens so fast. It happens suddenly that this is how their brain processes it, right? So this is why, like I mentioned, countdown timers don't work, or they tend to backfire when you use it against women. And the scarcity tactic, unless it's actually real as well, creates urgency in men but skepticism in women. This is why aggressive follow-up sequences close men, but they make women ghost. So your funnel is literally triggering a threat response in your female buyers. And then when they feel threatened, they don't fight through to buy it. They just leave, right? Okay. I'm really upset about the formatting, not gonna lie, but at the same time, I feel like we're too deep in this that I can't go back and re-record it. Okay. So I'm gonna show like the reason why I put like data here is because I most of the people who either read my stuff online or my clients are all male, and primarily male. I would say like 80% of my client, actually, I would say even 90% of my clients are male selling to women, and a lot of them are very data driven. So if you're on here and you think I'm just like talking out of my ass, I want to show you some numbers. So these are the stats, okay? 91% of women say advertisers don't understand them. That's 91%. 91%. And only 9% of women feel that brands are effectively marketing to them. That's crazy. And what's even crazier is that women control or influence 85% of all consumer purchasing decisions, and they control 31.8 trillion in global spending. And yet 91% of them feel misunderstood. This is crazy. But the gap is what is your opportunity, but it's also your problem if you're using tactics that contribute to the gap. So what do I mean by this is that it's all in behavioral evidence, right? Like, the gap is there, and if you're using tactics that contribute to the gap, you're not gonna capitalize on it. So women abandon carts 41.1% versus men 37.5%, right? And there's a higher abandonment specifically at checkout because women research more extensively. 91% of women check reviews before purchasing versus only men, who are 50%. And women take 20 to 40% longer to make a purchase decision. not because they're indecisive, but they just are very thorough. And they show 59% more brand loyalty in categories, specifically fashion, versus for men. 46% of men are are more more oh my god, what's that word, are more susceptible to referring someone. Okay, basically what I'm trying to say is once you earn their trust, they stay for a very, very long time, but you have to earn their trust first. So what are some real life examples for when marketing isn't done right, or advertising or whatever that is that backfired, right? A lot of people think, oh, it's only related to small brands that do this, but you'd be surprised that there are big brands even making this like mistake. So, for example, I recently did a case study on the big pens for her marketing campaign, which became a punchline. It was horrible. If you guys don't know about this, basically what happened was Big, the pen company, they released a pen specifically for women, and they just said it's designed for a woman's hand, and they made it into like some pastel colors, right? And they called it a day. And the funny part is they actually priced it more expensive than a regular pen, which doesn't make any sense, and that's why it backfired. Because a pen is just a pen, so you can't just like. This is also a good lesson. I'm going a bit off tangent here, but it's also a good lesson in just showing you that sometimes there may not be something like not everything has to be specifically for women. Like pens are just pens. You don't have to make something specifically for women and then just like mark up the price. It doesn't make sense. And this is a good case study on what happens when you just market to women for the sake of it, and you don't do anything that is actually incremental for them. So another case study is the Honda Fit, Honda's pink car with wrinkle fighting windows. I can't even take myself seriously when I say this because I can't believe that even happened. So Honda basically created like a Honda Fit car. It's a pink color car and has apparently like wrinkle fighting windows. So check that out. And I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. It was like universally mocked as well. It was just really bad, and like I just can't believe that happened. And I'm just showcasing this, by the way, to show you not only not what to do, but like to show you that big brands make this mistake as well. So there's nothing wrong with like taking accountability and realizing that maybe something in your funnel isn't working, and it's probably because you have been marketing to the wrong buyer psychology, right? Because even big brands make this mistake. And then Doritos as well with the lady chips. Basically, they made like quieter chips so women won't crunch too loudly. And again, needless to say, it was there was an immediate backlash. So, what do these failures have in common? They're marketed to women, but without understanding how women actually think. So, you know, pink doesn't fix psychology. Softer language doesn't fix psychology. Empowerment buzzwords do not fix psychology. And you have to actually understand that how how female buyer makes a purchasing decision is completely different to male, but you can't just slap something pink on it, use empowerment terms, and then like use softer language like go queen, slay, and all those things and call it a day. No, because then your funnel, like you have to actually understand how she makes a decision or how females make decisions, and then build your funnel around that. You can't, it's not just something you plaster. You actually have to understand the female buying psychology in order to market to women. Okay. So just a quick recap. The lesson here is pink is not psychology. You don't have to make things pink when you sell them to women. You don't have to use soft language. That's not a strategy. And using empowerment terms is not understanding women. Okay. Now we're going to get to the meat of it. So the 6 emotional blockers. So what do you do about this, right? I've developed a framework called the 6 emotional blockers based on the countless funnels that I've audited, based on all the all the female women that I have interviewed and understood why they buy or why they don't buy. And I've noticed there's a repeat pattern. So I call them the 6 emotional blockers. So these are the 6 gates that a woman must clear. A woman must clear emotionally before she can evaluate your offer logically. Okay, so if any of these gates stay closed, then the sale, it's chances are it's a lot harder for the sale to go through, no matter how good your offer is. So I'm going to give you a preview, and these are the 6 blockers right here. So number 1, do I feel understood? If your copy doesn't describe her experience with precision, then she's out. Okay, generic pain points are just not going to cut it here. Number 2, is this safe to trust? So women are wired to assess threat before opportunity. So if your funnel feels pushy or aggressive or is just using some sleazy marketing tactic, she's going to interpret it as it's unsafe and she's going to exit. Number 3 is, will I get predictable results? Now, the key word here is predictable, because women, they don't want to guess, they don't want to feel uncertain. Now, I'm going to go a bit off tangent here, but men buy based on status and women buy based on stability. Now, what is related to stability is predictability, right? So they want something predictable, they want something stable. So will this give me predictable results? So women buy certainty, not potential. So scale to 100K months will not work with her. Okay, that works on men because, again, men buy status and women buy stability. So women want the exact system that puts them in control and that relieves their nervous system. So they know exactly what they're getting and they know exactly how to get there. So number 4 is, what will my life actually look like? Vague outcomes and promises do not work here. She needs to know emotionally. She needs to emotionally inhabit the future state that she's going to commit to. She needs to be able to see herself in that. Which brings me to point number 5. Will I feel supported? So women fear failure, right? They fear failure, they fear judgment, they fear looking stupid. I think that goes both for both genders, but primarily for women, they fear failure, judgment, and they want to buy something that gives them stability, right? As we've discussed. So your funnel has to address, like, what if I can't do this? Because that's the question that she will have in her head before she buys. So she's going to ask herself, can I do this? Has someone like me done this? She wants to know if she can actually do it, and what are the steps that your product or your product is going to do in order to get her there. And then number 6 is, does this align with who I am? So women filter purchases through identity compatibility. And I'm going to make another video to cover this more in depth. But basically, she's going to ask herself, will this make me the person that I want to be? So if your funnel is probably triggering 4 to 5 of these if your funnel is triggering 4 to 5 of these blockers right now, I'm pretty sure it's not done intentionally, but because of the advice that you probably followed, or just some generic advice there that is gender blind, right? And it didn't account these things into them. So I go deep in on each of these in other videos that I'm going to make. I will be going a lot more in depth about a lot of the things that I've spoken about in this video. I just wanted to give you guys a more overview into why your funnel is probably repelling women. And I've got a complete diagnostic that you can use to even audit your own funnel. I'm going to drop the link somewhere in here in the description, and then you can get it from there. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next slide. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So what to do next? As I mentioned, I have the free diagnostic checklist for you to see if your funnel is actively repelling women. And here's what I want you to do. With the free diagnostic checklist, it walks you through the 6 emotional blockers with specific questions you can ask about your own funnel. And by the end, you'll know exactly where you're losing your customer. The link is, like I said, in the description below. I'll pin it in one of the comments. You can download it, run it on your funnels this week, and I promise you'll find at least 3 to 4 things that you can fix immediately. And if you stayed till the end, I appreciate you. This is my first video, so it's a bit bumpy, but I'm gonna look into creating more videos for you guys to help you market to women better. Because, like I said, my mission is to make marketing to women great again. And so, like I said, have a look through the diagnostic checklist. And then if you found this valuable, subscribe, because I'm going to go deeper on each of these blockers in the upcoming videos and talk about a lot of other things as well. And I'm going to show you exactly how to rebuild your funnel so it actually converts women that you're trying to reach. And if you want my eyes specifically on your funnels, I do audits. So there's a link to book a call also in the description. And I'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions, I'm going to link my socials down below as well. And you can feel free to drop me a message if you have any questions about what I presented here today. And if there's anything specific for topics that you want me to cover on, feel free to shoot me a message as well. And then I'll have that recorded. But that's it for me. Bye.